move right away into the question and answer period, and I will begin, but I do call for anyone who wishes to ask a question. There is a microphone at the back of the room. Bob's at it now, waving his hand. So please make your way to the microphone while I ask the first question. This question was submitted to the Chamber of Commerce by John Lemaister. It is directed to all candidates, but I will choose 4 to answer. With the recent misuse of public funds, and I believe he's speaking of the federal case in Ottawa, and not our case, and because of public awareness, I read that Senate members' expenses have decreased by 55%. I was wondering, by a show of hands, if members of council will be willing to have all of their salary information and expenses displayed on the town website. City of Ottawa Council does this on a monthly basis. So, okay, by a show of hands, that's what he said. By a show of hands, will you be willing to have all of their salary information and expenses displayed on the town website? That would be the public funds. Okay. Oh, if they can't see you, you're going to have to address. I think it's unanimous. They will all support that. Thank you. All right, we have seeing someone at the microphone. If you could please introduce yourself and ask your question. You have 1 minute.
Okay. My name is Frank Mills. I'm a very long-time resident of this community, over 50 years, and I'd like to address this question to all of the candidates for council. Whereas, assuming that you agree that delivering drugs via our water supply is a highly intrusive practice, and whereas virtually all major health authorities classify fluorine as a drug, would you, if elected, support an in-depth public review of this very questionable medication of town residents?
Mr. Mills, who are you directing your question to?
All the councillors.
So you're looking for a yes or no answer?
Of course.
Okay. So we'll start with Teresa Fritz, and we'll just go down the line. It's a yes or no answer.
Yes, I would support a review.
Yes, that's nothing.
Lori Miller, yes.
Yes, I don't have a problem.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Carolyn Gerbeck.
I cannot say either yes or no. I do not know enough about the issue and how much that would cost the town. I'm not saying no for sure, but I think I would have to have more facts.
Yes, I will support it.
Councillor Black, not a chance, been there, done it, extensive due diligence, spent months and months on it during this last term and will not support it again.
Claudia Wooderick, yes, I would support it.
We just need to get it out.
How do you?
It's poison, so.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't support it. I'm trying to get it out.
Brian Doucette.
Regrettably not. I wouldn't support it.
Sean Redmond.
We've already dealt with it once, and we don't need to waste more money on the same issue.
Ross Trimble.
I would be willing to entertain supporting it.
Andrew Tennant.
It's been discussed. I think it's done. I wouldn't.
Seeing no other person at the microphone behind me, I will ask another question early. Bob, can you get people up to the microphone, please? Okay.
Let's step up here now.
I'm going to ask each one again. It's a yes or no question. Is your principal residence in Carleton Place? Do you pay taxes to Carleton Place for your principal residence? I'll start with Andrew Tennant.
Yes.
Ross Trimble.
Yes.
Sean Redmond.
Yes.
Brian.
Nope, I pay commercial taxes in town of Carleton Place. My residence is in Mississippi Mills. I continue to qualify to run for council.
It's a yes or no question.
Oh.
Yeah. Francois Maltese.
Yeah.
Claudia Woodridge.
Yes.
Doug Black.
Yes, and it's too much.
Gordon Brazo.
Yes.
Carolyn Gerback.
No.
Catherine Carrier.
Absolutely.
Gary Strike.
Yes.
Laurie Miller.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't see her. Doug Snedden, sorry.
Yes.
And Teresa Fritz.
Yes, I pay taxes in town Carleton Place.
Thank you very much.
I pay taxes in the town of Carleton.
I understand that. The question was principal residence. Lights on Bridge Street. The street is dark. Seniors do not like to walk after the sun goes down. Please give us your platform on seniors housing. I'm not really sure what that has to do with the sun going down, but please give us your platform on providing seniors housing. And if we could start with Laurie Miller, I'll ask 3 for an answer.
Seniors housing is critical for the support of seniors moving forward in our community. Get feedback here. I believe that any program of housing sponsored by the municipality should be part of a large integrated, affordable housing plan. To do anything less would be to pit one group against the other. What's important here is that we take a balanced approach to make sure that everyone in town who requires subsidized housing or any subsidy that the municipality puts forward to understand that they are taking part in a larger program of and a balanced approach to affordable housing for everyone. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Doucette?
Yeah. I missed part
Oh,
of it.
please provide your platform on providing housing for seniors.
In 2011, we missed an opportunity to have a seniors residence built in this town. I don't agree with what happened then. We could have potentially moved ahead with that, but there was so many conditions placed on it, the developer walked away from it. In too many cases, developers are walking away from this town because of some of the unreasonable conditions, in my mind, that are being placed on such development. If we're expecting to provide reasonably priced seniors housing, we have to work with the developers to achieve that. Yes, council has looked currently at a new one over by Carnbeck, but we already missed one opportunity. We need to make sure we never miss another one. Thank you.
Ralph Trimble?
Yes. We have an aging population, so senior housing is a critical issue, and I would be very supportive and do anything I could to move forward a new senior housing project in town.
Thank you. We have a question at the microphone.
My name is Irene McQueen. I live on Crampton Drive. I've been here in Carleton Place for 10 years. I've seen my water rates double in 10 years. I'd like to know what this council, or those who get elected, what are they going to do about costs overrun? Are they going to continue to raise my water rates and my property taxes, or are they going to try to stay on budget? And I'd like to address that to Doug Black and Gary Strike.
Okay, Mr. Black, you can start us off.
That's a great question, and I'll do the water rates first. And as a benchmark for the Carleton Place Council, we always compare ourselves to the surrounding communities. And without hesitation, I don't have the figures here, but we will be experiencing the least increase in water rates over the next 10 years than any other community close proximity. Our infrastructure is so well in place that Yes, water rates are important. We're in very good shape going forward. You will see double-digit increases in our surrounding municipalities and a single digit here in Carleton Place. You will see the benefits of what has occurred by previous councils to keep everything up to speed. As far as property taxes, I think it's reasonable that we can keep within the minimum the inflation rate, if not less. But if you once again compare our tax rate, and I know it's not that popular, but we're very favorable compared to all the other municipalities in Carleton Place. Things are going well for us. We're a growing community, and it's paying off. But with that comes some challenges, and we're very cognizant of pricing of both water and taxes. And with that, Gary. Okay, this meeting's over.
You're going to have to listen very quickly. We don't have any microphones right now.
Well, I happen to have the rates right here in front of me. I carry them around my back pocket because people ask. Carleton Place is the lowest of these communities. Amber is higher, Jockville's higher, Perth's higher, Orangeville's higher, Mississippi Mills is higher, and Smith Falls is higher. So what? So we have the lowest amongst those ones that we compared to. Taxes.
I've lost everything. Board's on, but everything.
Taxes, Ottawa is a little bit cheaper in taxes than we have, so they have a much bigger tax base to draw from. Federal buildings, more commercial, more industrial, and they're only $70 per 100,000 less than we are. And Carleton Place is next. Arnbar is higher than us, Leadproof, Kingston, Perth, Belleville, Pembroke, and St. Paul. Anybody wants to see this after?
I pay the taxes too, really, really expensive. Water bill, I believe, for us every 3 months, $70. Sorry. Yeah, it needs to stay frozen. Gary and Doc are saying, I think they've been on top for quite some time. They understand the system. I can't add more than they can. I'd like to see them lowered. But really, community grows and community costs money. I don't know if they can go any lower. I think they're going to stay at that rate. Doug says they're going to be staying at inflation rates. I think that's pretty good for a community this size. Water rates I'd love to see lower, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. In any case, that's all I can say, really.
Thank you. You answer as well. Oh, thank you, Matt. Okay, we need another microphone here. Oh, we got two.
Thank you very much. During my process, my campaign, taxes and water rates were identified by you as your #1 issue. And I received this nice sheet from the Chamber of Commerce, which actually says something different than what we're hearing. It says that Carleton Place residential tax rate is higher than Beckwith, Elmont, Mississippi Mills, Arnprior, Kempville, Stittsville. Ever been through there lately? Ours is 0.013 is our tax rate. And I will work hard to hold the line on tax and water rates. Many people say, well, you can't say 0%. Well, I can keep it as a goal, can't I? This can be accomplished in 2 ways. We need to increase our tax base. There should be a 30% difference between residential and industrial. Right now, we're about on par. So you are carrying the taxes for the commercial businesses that we currently don't have. Let's increase that and just decrease your taxes. Thank you.
Next question, please.
Hello, my name is Lise Gagnon. I live in Carleton Place. I used to live in Ottawa. I moved here because it was quiet, the air was good, it was green, and it was very friendly. Now, I'm all for senior housing, building houses, commercials, industrials to reduce the tax base, but I don't want to see another Ottawa. I moved here because of the population. Now, there's some leniency there, but I don't want high condos, I don't want high apartments, and I don't want high senior citizen homes. Whoever wants to answer the question is welcome.
Please restate your question.
What's the platform on this tax reduction and increase of residential, commercial, and industrial?
Do you understand the question? You're going to have to give them
How
more for your
are we going to make this happen so that we don't overpopulate Carleton Place, we don't make it look like Ottawa, Statesville, and Canada, by increasing the residential and the industrial, but without making it overly crowded?
Okay, Sean Redmond.
Well, as council and dealing with the developers that are coming in, we have to tell the developers what it is as a community that we want here. We have a town plan that can enforce what we want. We are showing a lot of green space coming in to help with your concerns. We don't want 8 or 10 story apartment buildings here. And as council, we can actually say they can't have them. We need to keep lot sizes to an acceptable level, and we need to make neighborhoods safe and clean. We need to have proper lighting. We need to put pathways in so that people and children and seniors can move along from one part to the other without being endangered. But as council, we have the right to ask and demand from developers to give us what we want, not what they want to do. We do have to work with them to make sure that we can work together, but we can ask and we can demand.
Teresa Fritz.
I think it's a very interesting question. People are very concerned about how large the town is going to grow. When I first came here, it was just over 7,000, and now we're over 10. I think one of the issues to remember is we do have some limits on what we can do. When our sewage treatment plant was expanded back in the 90s, it was built, I believe, for 14,500 capacity. So we really don't want to get that large, but we do want to plan carefully for what we're going to bring. I think there is a good mix that can be had of residential and industrial, but I think we need to focus on having an economic development officer that is going to bring some bigger businesses to town. We've lost a business like DRS. I think we need to attract another business, and in the process you get taxes from that kind of development. But I think our housing development, we do have an official plan that is there to set out the rules and regulations. Developers do meet with council. They don't just do what they want. Council does have a say, and it's important that we as a council and as a community let people know what we want. Yes, we need affordable seniors housing, but does that have to be high-rise housing? Not necessarily. There's lots of opportunity there to plan what kind of growth you want, but you have to want it, and you have to go after it, and you have to plan for it. Thank you.
Carolyn Burbank. I don't have the question.
Okay. So what I guess, from what I'm taking from that is, the question is, how is the growth going to be managed over the next several years? I think that realistically, I don't think Carleton Place at some point in time will close their door to future growth. I don't think that that's a reasonable expectation on any town. It's, when you reach a certain size, that's it, no more, sorry, you can't come here. But I think that it can be managed properly and tastefully and respectfully. I think that Carleton Place already has a leg up on a lot of other towns in that it's got a beautiful downtown core with beautiful architecture and things other towns would love to have. And I think that, moving forward, if the growth is planned and it's considered and people have a vision as to what it's going to look like in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, in 40 years' time, I think those it's more important than how many people we're going to allow to move to Carleton Place. So I think as long as the growth can, remains well planned and well thought out, that it will continue to be a beautiful town.
Thank you. Councillor Candidates.
Hi. I think that for the council to control the growth, it's to limit the number of houses per area and not make too many, all crowded like in Ottawa. That would be a good start. And to make a nice mix of homes and some rentals, because rentals are really needed in this area, but not high rises, of course. And also I think that, What is going to be hard is to limit the number of people who want to come here, because if we want to build more industries and have more businesses, of course we need more people to be here. But all it comes down to is building more green spaces within the neighborhoods so that the houses don't look all stacked also.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi, my name is Dave Chidala, and I'm a resident of Carleton Place for a year and a half. I work for the Ottawa Senator Hockey Club in ticket sales, 297-3191. Sometimes, what doesn't seem important here in Carleton Place, it might not be an issue today, may be an issue in 2 years. And I take, for example, one of the hot issues in Ottawa being bi-weekly garbage collection. So I'll ask the question this way. For whatever reason, over the next 4 years, be it budgetary, environment, whatever, would you be open, yes, no, to bi-weekly garbage pickup?
So as a yes or no answer, I'll ask everyone. So show of hands for a yes, for bi-weekly, support of bi-weekly garbage. A show of hands for no, you would not support it. Thank you. Next question, please.
My name is Murray McGregor. I've been in this town for 44 years. I grew up here. My question to the future council members and the council members from before, you're talking about getting businesses to stay in this town. A major plant 2 years ago, the employees were told they were moving to Ottawa. Obviously, nothing was done until the very end. The plant is now moving to Ottawa. 135 employees gone. My question to you, what are you guys going to do to keep the businesses here?
I think it all comes down to the definition of economic development. It's all based on the drivers of economic development. If we're all working together and on the same page with a good communication strategy, you'll find that a lot of companies will stay and thrive here. The problem has been over the last 4 years is that the communication strategy has been weak, and some of our drivers, for example the hospital, and some of our developers, and the town staff, and some of the businesses have not been on the same page. I think the council and the town working together with a good strategy, talking to each other so we're all on the same page, will make that difference, and companies will stay. Thank you.
Gordon Brazeau.
I don't know how to actually make businesses stay in town if businesses are getting cut rate in taxes and having minimum wage people working for them. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Claudia Woodruff.
The key strategy actually to keep businesses in town is to stay particularly connected with the businesses in town. And part of that strategy is to have a qualified, experienced economic development officer that has good quality communications with all the businesses. Plus, council needs to be open and have far more conversation with businesses and understand what some of the frustrations are instead of just going through another individual, but actually have direct communication. We also have to provide the services that businesses need, and some of those services is a reliable hospital, that they know that if they're going to stay here and if they're going to grow here, that they can also rely on the hospital here.
Thank you. Laurie Miller.
I think the key to ensuring that we have more businesses staying here has to do with a revamped BIA. You know, we need to be able to leverage every sector of our society, every sector of our economy, the most effective way we can, and that is by moving away from these individual stovepipe efforts into a more organized and structured way of dealing with both business and with the people who actually staff the businesses. You know, sometimes we tend to forget those people who actually work at these businesses, and they're left behind, much like this gentleman said. We have to be there for them and help them transition if there is no other choice. The business in question, I believe, is a multinational, so it can move its employees anywhere. But we have to be there for you to ensure that the transition is smooth and move you and your skill sets into new businesses that we're going to create when we take the BIA to the next level and ensure that all of our businesses and all of our strategies are put together in one area where one group and with one purpose, and that is to make Carleton Place succeed. Thank you.
Next question, please.
Hi, my name is Peter Adamovitz. Question for Doug Black. In your contributions initiatives, you mentioned that you brought together a cross-section of residents to create the Good Neighbors, Great Neighborhoods Committee. Yet it's staffed by yourself, a councillor, the mayor, the manager of the Victoria Street Museum, 3 citizens of the year, and is it possible that this is the elite of Carleton Place and has lost touch with the typical resident? And how do you meet the residents' needs when you stack the committee with such members?
I find that a very disappointing question, Peter.
I'd also like to get the opinion of Brian Doucette on that question.
Peter, I'm a little confused on this. I guess the Good Neighbors and Good Neighborhoods Committee, my understanding was the original idea behind it was a group of people wanted to work with various sort of mini communities within the town to have functions and festivals in those different areas, and also work on improving some of the bylaws with the town. I've read the objectives as issued by the council to that committee, and it seemed to have been pushed over more to asking those folks to check all the bylaws and make recommendations. Having pursued that a little bit, I don't see where any of the recommendations under the Good Neighborhood Committee actually took place. And there were some good ideas brought forward at that point. Not being on council at this point, I don't know what that committee has morphed into. I believe it has perhaps gone into something that its mandate certainly didn't describe. So I'm unable to accurately answer the question you've asked there. But that's my understanding of what the committee was originally set up for. Yeah. Thank you.
Next question, please.